Hi guys, and welcome back to Pass and Move. For today's episode, we are back with the second season in our amazing AC Milan series, and of course, we're starting off pretty much how we ended it. So we faced Napoli in the last game of the season for last season, and this season we start off with Napoli again. We're away from home, so it's going to be a bit of a difficult fixture, but we're going to hope to make amends and kind of punish them really for making us miss out on Champions League football. For those of you who missed out on that first season, if we can have a look at the last season, how it ended. We faced Napoli in the final day of the season. They still drew with us despite having nothing to play for, and as you can tell, we missed out not on goal difference, but because we lost to Fiorentina earlier in the season. Of course, the Serie A goes by results between the two teams to to decide which team goes above the other. And so our goal difference didn't help us at all. We scored less, but we conceded less than them as well. But unfortunately, couldn't do anything about it. But anyways, so we're going to kick off against Napoli. There's a couple of things that we might want to go through. So we can have a quick look at the transfer window. Major transfers were Douglas Costa leaving Bayern and joining Juve. Juve pretty much are the ones who made all the signings. If you can have a look here. Spent actually is what we're trying to have a look at. So Juve spent 92 million, Napoli spending 45 million, but it's because they sold 53 million worth of talent, and that is Diawara. Of course, they spent money on Zappacosta as well. Giselle also leaving from Fiorentina. Basically, a lot of Serie A sides other than Juve have lost some of their quality players, and so it's a bit interesting to see whether that affects the league or not. In terms of the overall reputation, we've actually jumped ahead of the German league now, and I'm hoping that we continue performing well in general in the Champions League so we can continue climbing up the table, but that's a different type of concern. So those are the main transfers, but of course I'm sure you want to know how our transfers went, and because we've got no money, not sure why I'm looking at Napoli. Because we've got no money, we really couldn't make any transfers. I mentioned the one transfer we made, which was bringing in Herrera for free. Kessie's the only player now who's still on loan with us and will join in 2019. That's a transfer set ahead of my arrival. So I don't have a choice in that. But of course, Kessie is a quality player and can still improve. Considered a wonder kid, I think. I guess not, but yeah, tons of potential. Definitely a key player for us, and so I don't have any concerns with that turning into something real. But let's have a look at the transfer history, that'd be better. So Barini and Nicola also turned their loans into permanent moves. That's also something that I had no handle in. It's pretty much just a Herrera who I managed to bring in myself, and that was for free and a rotational option. And of course, we've only spending 50k per week on him, so really a tremendous deal in truth. Very good backup for us to have to Kessie. Juan as well was brought in on loan from Tottenham, and I'll explain his transfer in just a moment, but he's a youngster with potential. Of course, I don't really care about his potential, I just care that he's good enough for the division to provide us with adequate backup. I mentioned last season about our tactics, but we'll go through that in more detail as well. But we got rid of some deadwood, like Niang to Torino for 10.75 million, Zigoni, Sosa, Zapata. A couple of loans as well, and some of these are of course players with deadwood, such as Ricardo, but we couldn't manage to sell some of these players, but we managed to loan them out for their full wages, so it's really reduced our wage bill as well. And Hachim is just because obviously to give him some game time, hopefully he can improve. So overall, not bad at all. Decent transfer overall, but I was hoping for better, but we really didn't have much of a transfer budget. I mean, the board allowed us to spend, I like to have it just about in the middle, leaning towards the transfer budget, so you could say 17 million, but the truth is, with our finances in the red, there's no way I could spend that money and send us into further doom. Our projections are improving a little bit. I mean, in 3 seasons time we're actually going to be in the green for once, and our transfer budget will improve, but at the moment we're doing really poorly financially, and even more reason for us to try and get into the Champions League. Another reason, of course, the board are now expecting us to reach Champions League football. They don't expect Europa League football, they expect Champions League. They reduced the expectation for the Europa League, which has gone from last season's final to this season, which is a semi-final, and the Italian Cup still doesn't matter to them, but of course we're going to be aiming for everything in our way. In terms of the season preview, it is still the same as last season. The media expect us to finish in second, so hopefully we do get Champions League football. And in terms of our squad, this is how our squad looks like now. We've got 23 players, not the ideal number. I like to have 22 in truth. So to explain the Juan transfer, it's actually because Gustavo asked to leave. He's unhappy. He wanted to leave. He wouldn't hear anything for it. So I listed him. Sevilla were interested, but they only wanted to buy him for half price. I wasn't having any of that. But because I expected Gomez to already leave, I bought in Juan ahead of time because I don't want to miss out on a transfer while I'm waiting for Gomez to sort out his. Now we have 5 centre backs, and really we just need 4 because of our tactics. But anyways, our goalkeepers are pretty much the same. Right backs the same. Our centre backs are Bonucci, Musacchio. Juan, really, we're going to avoid playing him as much as possible and just rely on Gomez. Despite him asking to leave, he still is our player. And in terms of Juan, we're barely paying any money for him, so it's not a big deal if I leave him out as well. You can send him down to the under-20s in truth. Our left backs are the same in Aaron and Rodriguez. We've got Lucas and Kessie. We'll talk more about our starters, but there's Locatelli, Herrera now involved in our midfield. Suso, Hakan. I would have loved to have replaced Borini because he's one of the weaker depth players. But, there's no way I was going to be able to sell him considering that his official move was completed now. No team is going to try and buy him. You know how a football manager works. And real life, really, it's very rare for a player who just joined to be able to leave immediately in the same summer. Bonaventura on the wings for us and Hakan, of course. And in terms of our strikers, we've got 4 in Nicola, Coutron, who's returned from his loan, Silva, and Bacca returned from his loan as well to become a key player for us once more. I mentioned last season about what we're going to be using for our tactics, so just to quickly run through it. We're playing with a 4-4-2, a variation on it. We've got Lucas as playing as a defensive midfielder, deep line playmaker. He's very comfortable with it. This is our strongest starting 11, so anyone you see here is going to be, we're going to try and use them as much as possible. We've got Bacca and Silva being the partnership. Silva's a complete forward on support, and Bacca as an advanced forward. Those who should cause plenty of damage. I thought we had too many strikers in our squad. Let's take advantage of it and move away from that 3 or 5-man backline, which we really don't need when we're trying to play direct football. So 2 strikers suits us. Moving our players forward as well, inside forwards. We've got a bit of variation, a fullback on attack with inside forward and a fullback on support with an inside forward on attack. And that way we've got nice little partnerships all around the pitch, as you can see. And the defensive midfield is just there to, make amends for how attacking our lineup is naturally, or our formation. And so, hopefully that will do us well. We've also got backup tactics in 2 defensive midfielders instead. If we want to go more defensive, ignore the roles, but quite similar roles to this one. We're gonna change it when we need to. And we've also got the 2 central midfielders if we need to be a bit more attacking. And we've got a mentality of counter just in case we need to hit teams on the counter on occasion. But mostly we'll be sticking to this main tactic here, which should get us throughout, through the season relatively well. Early indications though for the preseason friendlies is quite well. We've gone to China for a little tour, made some money, nice bunch of wins there. But really it was at home where we got tested. We managed to beat Anderlecht 2-0. A very impressive win against Bayern 3-1. If you can have a look at their lineup, it won't show here, but they pretty much started the strongest 11, and we still managed to beat them. Obviously preseason friendlies aren't an indicator of anything, but if they ever were, then we did well by beating Arsenal 1-0 as well. So hopefully this new tactic gets us set off well. I think we're in a better position this season than we were in last season. Tiny bits of issues in depth, such as the centre-back position. Gomez isn't good enough anymore. He's a 25-year-old completed product, and he's only considered a good player for most Serie A sides, so we want better than that. We want a youngster who actually has potential to be leading for us. First choice in central defence, you can kind of just pause this screen right now to see who our first teamers, but this is the squad we're going with, and the backup are all on the bench, who we should be rotating with whenever need be. So centre-back is an area that could do with some work, and a right wing basically, and left wing could do definitely with improvement because Hakan's not a natural inside forward. He lacks a bit of the acceleration and pace that you might need, but everything else is quite decent for him, so he's not the worst option, but we might need to move him on next season potentially. But anyways, aims for this season is to get a minimum of Champions League football, but I'm hoping for the title itself. But considering how Juve have strengthened their side, it's going to be quite difficult, but I'm hoping to that our collective tactic as well as collective teamwork will put us in a good position. Dynamics at the moment really good, so let's hope that continues to improve. A lot riding on the Champions League football, of course. We've got Matteo, Alessio, Silva, and I think Gustavo Gomez just wants to leave for first team football, but these 3 here I have promised Champions League football. I think that's kind of it. I think we can finally get ahead into today's game. We'll cover kind of pretty much everything else, and let's kick off the season hopefully with a win. So let's get into it. So we've got advanced forwards in Nicola. He can play as a complete forward as well, but I think he has a hint of a preference for advanced forward. But we will be using him as a complete forward because we need to back up to Silva. But Bacca and Crouton, both of them are, they prefer being advanced forwards, and advanced forwards always do well when they have a supporting striker with them. When they're leading the line by themselves, they're not as good. They can still definitely cause some serious damage, but with a second striker next to them, they're even better, I would say. So yeah, let's see how it goes. A very attacking lineup from ourselves. Napoli still with the same 4-3-3 formation, but they are weakened by the departure of Diawara. They still have very capable players on Jorginho, Allen and Hamsik, so they're definitely not a weaker team overall. Mertens leading the line for them, and mostly a same, pretty much standard team for them. Zappacosta making his debut for them. They've also brought in Darmian, so it's going to be interesting. But overall, I think it's quite even in quality, and I think we can very much go head-to-head with them. But anyways, not favourites today's game, so we're going to go with the fans team talk. Do it for the fans. That tends to work when you're away from home, and a little nice passionate team talk. We want to set replays on, and we want to watch the actual highlights. We'll set it on extended since we're just showing the single game today. So let's kick off. Hopefully a better season this season than last season. I'm hoping to not see any type of inconsistencies that we put in last season. And I'm also hoping for us to secure Champions League football with relative ease and not rely on other teams failing. Early ball into Silva. He's got 2 players in the box. He can find them. There's 3 now, and we've got Kessie on the outside of the box, and he goes to him. And Lucas can recycle possession for us once more. Back to Andre Silva. What can he do this time? Decent delivery. In truth, someone should be taking the risk of making that far post run, and particularly our left winger Bonaventura. But he didn't take the risk, and Napoli survived that. Now they're going to try and cause us damage to his set piece. Kessie clears it well. Allen's going to win the ball for his team though, and we need to rearrange ourselves but still keep a decent shape. I'm tempted to go into structured because of how attacking our formation is. It might work a little bit better, but I think I mentioned before that whenever I play in... this is a good ball for Callion. Donnarumma's got it all the way though. I feel like whenever you play direct football, fluid team shape always seems to work best. It leaves you a bit defensively exposed, but it just seems to work so much better. I think when you're playing shorter passing or countering football, I suppose, playing structured works a bit better. But when you're playing direct, high tempo sort of stuff, fluid just seems to work so much better. Really good switch from Lucas to find Bonaventura. Zappacosta tries to cut it out, and apparently that's a clean tackle. And Napoli are trying to get out of their own box, and they've done that successfully with Hamsik here. Callion. Got players back here, so we really shouldn't concede from this position, but Napoli moving the ball about fairly well. If we can just win it here. Trying to put some pressure on them by Kessie, but he does well to find Lorenzo there, and Hamsik to Allen. They're moving the ball about well now. They've got runners. Mertens is there. Rodriguez clears it forward to Silva, but it's going to have to be a better ball than that. This is not good possession from ourselves. Napoli, though, they'll be happy with that. Mertens through to Callion, and it's Ricardo Rodriguez failing to track his man again. I think Callion was offside in truth, but within 5 minutes to concede. And like the commentary says there, Rodriguez has to take the blame for that, because that is incredibly poor defending. His marking is so poor at times. It really isn't what the game says, which is, I think, an attribute of 11. I mean, look at that. No one to man mark. All he has to care about is Callion, and he can't even do that well enough. It's times like that that makes me think I really should have the team unstructured. Anyways, I think we can recover from this position. Rodriguez's ratings dropped tremendously, but I'm hoping to see the team grow into the game a bit better than they have in this early stages. Koulibaly under pressure. Bonucci's trying to win it here. Mertens, Suso now, Kessie. Just has to make the right decision, and he eventually does to Conti. Lucas. Kessie once more. What can he do this time? Turns well, finds Bacca, drop deep, finds Bonaventura. Can he finish? Yes, he can. 1-1 within 10 minutes, and this game is nothing short of excitement. We're back into second apparently, but there's plenty of Serie A games to play, and I was worried that Bonaventura won't finish his chances the same way he didn't finish the chances in the last episode, which was the last game of last season against Napoli as well. So, you know, there's a bit of a concern there for a moment, but this is good play from Bacca. Nice little through ball, playing as advanced forward, but he's happy to drop deep as well. And Bonaventura with the clinical finish. Pepe Reina, I think that is, trying to come out and sweep the ball up from his, defense. But Bonaventura was having none of that and took that early little shot there. Anyways, Napoli kick off right after that goal, so I'm wondering whether they're going to hit us back or whether we're going to hit them again. Hamsik trying to play the ball, I think, in behind Conti, but it goes to Mertens instead, and now this time it is behind Conti. We've dealt with that initially well, but Donnarumma has to try and not give away this kick here. Forward to Bacca. He rises, but it's Akanji who wins it, and Mertens again for his team. Callion with the ball. Hamsik. Lorenzo. Always a danger man. He's such a good player in FM. You have to ignore all his... almost gave away the ball there. Silva, though, if he can turn and find his teammate, instead he's forced to hold on to it a bit too long for my liking. And Kessie back to Silva. This is good play all round. Can he find Conti? He does. Can he deliver across, though? Far post. Bacca's there. Could have just done a little bit better with that header. It was definitely our first clear-cut chance of the game, but all round, good play. Now it's nice to see our fullbacks getting forward, trying to deliver the early cross like we're asking them. Napoli survived this attack. Maybe countered here at the moment. Napoli throwing men forward. Mertens squares it to Allen. Long range shot. I'll take that all day, considering how out of place my players were. So far though, fairly even game, back and forth really, and hints that we might have to drop Kessie into defensive midfield instead, but I'm liking how we're attacking. Kessie's been quite an important player for us in midfield. He always seems to be free. Suso trying to find his opposite winger. Bacca now. Oh, if he took the shot a hint earlier, we might have been 2-1 up, but we do have an opportunity from the set piece now. What can we do? Alright, so playing with a set piece that I didn't actually set up. I want to have a quick look at it because I did have it set up. Not sure whether it went to default by itself. Oh, it has changed. Alright then, so if you guys wanted to have an idea, I want my centre backs attacking the posts, my wingers attacking the flick-ons, my central midfielders, defensive midfielders just lurking around. Basically my defensive midfielder actually lurking, my central midfielder can push forward, the striker can attack the ball from deep, and the second striker can challenge the goalkeeper, and the central midfielder can pretty much just do what he wants. Fullback staying back for sure. From the left we'll set up the same thing, so you just lurk basically, you push forward onto the post, you attack the near post, you challenge the goalkeeper, you attack the ball from deep, flick on, and you just go forward, and that's kind of it. Hoping to see my actual set piece work well, but I think it just went to default when I tried to recreate a tactic. Anyways, Alessio with the ball. The highlight hasn't ended, so it might be good news for us. Suso, if he can deliver, there's 3 in the box, but loose first touch allows Jorginho in. Napoli survived that, but we're going to have to try and punish them here instead. Bit of a dominating spell for us here. Conti, Silva coming out wide for the ball. Lucas though, squares it to Kessie. Is it going to be long range shot? He tries, but it's Ulam who tries to get Napoli on the way, and Mertens has allowed the time to pick up the ball and try and get his team on the counter. This is not good. Dragged out of shape, but Alessio wins the ball back well, and that's the end of that for them. Defensively, we look very suspect at times, but we look really good at other times. Let's see. Bonaventura with the free kick. At least it's in the correct direction. It's just risen above the goal. Dominating shots, but I think we can work the ball into the box a hint better. But let's let the players play, because at the moment, whatever they're doing is quite good. Suso. Square to Kessie. Finds Bonaventura well. Can he just deliver the cross? That's all we need from him. Far post. Suso hits it back in stupidly instead of taking a touch, but either way, gonna hold on to the ball here through Conti. Down the wing, yes, Suso. Napoli have a lot of men behind the ball, even though they're a home team. They keep trying to hit us on the counter. And given how attacking our formation is, they can do that quite well. And that's why I'm thinking about dropping a defensive midfielder. Cleared, but only to Allen, and then it was through to Callejon. That's again suspect defending. Alright then, I think we can work the ball a bit better here. So let's ask my players to work the ball, look for overlap, see whether that helps us gain an advantage. We want to head into half time with the advantage. We don't want to go with it being 1-1. Ricardo Rodriguez, pretty much the only player who's having a poor game. There's a couple of players there having quiet ones, and it's just Bonaventura who's the standout player for us. Bacca, despite having the assist, doesn't seem to have done too much since. Rodriguez to Bonaventura. We're supposed to be working the ball into the box. He goes into the box himself and shoots, so I guess that kind of counts. But we need better finishing than that. We need the same type of finishing that we saw from him for his first goal if we want to grab a second. Napoli with the corner though. Cleared by Kessie well, but it's Allen again who goes out to pick it up. Lorenzo, square, but we deal with it in Suso. If we can win this, we would have been on our way, but apparently not. Lucas heads it for some reason instead of taking a touch. I didn't have any pressure on him. If he took a touch and played our players through, it would have been good. Allen though, he gets past Kessie there, it's a bit worrying, and again, Napoli throwing everyone forward with their counter-attacks. Don't want my winger man marking the opposition winger, that makes absolutely no sense. Sousa having a poor game, not good to see. We're going to definitely need to make some substitutions, but at the moment, it's Napoli with a set piece. Bacca clears it well, Sousa can pick it up and maybe we can try and counter. Come on boys, get forward. This looks good so far. For Silva, he's a bit free, but it's kind of a bad touch in truth, and he's always going to take that shot. And I think early indications are working the ball into the box and looking for overlap hasn't done too much for us. We might have to go passing into space and running at defense and whatnot, because I mean, I want more shots on target. That's why I worked the ball into the box, but it hasn't looked too good. We'll give the other tactical instruction a go. But at the moment, can't complain with my players. We've looked quite decent. We just need a hint more quality. My strikers have to stand up a little bit more than they have done today. Let's go into attack, and let's also pass the space, hit early crosses and run at defense. We might later on down the line roam from positions and be more expressive, but at the moment not too much of a fan of attacking even more, given how we've not looked too convincing defensively, but do want to grab that second goal at the earliest opportunity and then maybe try and shop. Napoli have looked good themselves and they're looking good again here. Donnarumma, he collects the ball well there, but he's gone out of play with it, and so Napoli get a corner and this highlight's not ending, which is worrying. In truth, they haven't looked that good from set pieces. We always seem to deal with the threat well, and we've done it again there, but it's the second ball we don't seem to get out and win. Struggle to get shots on target. That's a weird accusation. Oh wait, actually we had shots but not shots on target, that makes sense. Bonaventura winning the ball well on the front foot. Bacca's free down the line if he can just find a teammate. Holds it up well though. Corner cross for Silva and it's over. And considering how these players can header, they should be doing better than they have been doing. Both Silva and Bacca. Callejon can turn with the ball there. Cleared well, but it's only back to a Napoli player. And the fullbacks just pass the ball between themselves. Jorginho free a little bit. Callejon cuts inside to Mertens. And he's found Hamsik really well. That's over. That type of run shouldn't be happening. Have Napoli changed? They haven't changed their tactics, so their formation, so it's a bit weird. But it looks like at the moment it's their tactic. I mean, our adjustment to our tactics has actually helped them grow into the game rather than ourselves. We still only have a single shot to our name. Silva's going to be taken off as well as Suso. So let's do that now. Both these players disappointing. And this was not the time to put in that type of performance. Suso for Barini. who I'm not really a fan of on the right wing. You should never have an inside forward cutting in on his right foot if he's on the right flank. It has to be opposite feet and opposite flanks. But he did well in the last game of the season, last time out, so I'm hoping for a similar performance, but this time off the bench. It's always tougher to do. I didn't want to have to use Rom from positions, but we might need it now, because at the moment we're not doing enough to grab a second. But Rom from positions just opens us up to being even more defensively suspect. But yeah, another substitution needed. We're going to take off Kessie for Herrera, which isn't a bad substitution to make at all. And maybe the switch will bring us better quality from midfield. Gulam though. Only to Romagnoli, but he just has it to Zappacosta. He cuts inside and finds Lorenzo well, but we just have to stop the cross from coming in. He's going to aim for the far post for sure, and Callion's there. Donnarumma's done really well, and again, Rodriguez not keeping an eye on his man. Time for us to defend another corner. Lucas deals with the initial threat. Barini is trying to help the counter, but can't seem to win the ball and find him. So Alan forced to run out wide, that's fine for us. And back to Zappacosta. Highlight continues. Hamsik toward Jorginho. Alright, this is a bit weird whatever's happening here, but anyways, Jorginho. I guess it's a foul. Lucas couldn't be patient. We've actually asked him to close down less, so I'm a bit surprised that he's tried to do that. Alan's free in the box though. Square to Jorginho. Donnarumma deals with that quite easily. He's directly at him in truth, but again, Napoli. Despite asking my players to work the ball into the box, they haven't done too well in possession. Napoli now going for the 4-4-2 wide, going for the result. Don't tell me they get it. Bonaventura. We've been the more attacking team all game in terms of formation. They're suddenly throwing in the same formation and they're trying to get their own results. So, you know what? No, let me wait for the last 5 minutes instead. Alright, tell me this is the winning goal for us. Spread well to Conti, he just squares it to Herrera for some reason, and up to Nicola. Herrera, be smarter with the ball please. Lucas, Barini. There's an overlap for him if he wants, but he goes to Nicola instead. He takes a stupid long-range shot. We've asked him to work the ball into the box. God knows what he's doing from there. That's not pleasing to see at all. Alright, let's just make the change now. So we're going to push Lucas forward. It's going to expose us a bit more, but, you know, can't do anything about that. Baka's grown into the game quite well now as well. What we're also going to do is we're going to go into overload, take more risks, but I think this just isn't going to work anymore. Napoli are coming forward a bit more, so if we pass the space, run at defense and hit early crosses a bit more, we might be able to expose them rather than them expose us, but they're certainly going to try that here too. Zappacosta, if you can win the ball back well and just play it forward, would be in a good position. Hamsik though has time to turn and find Callion. Early ball to his teammate, but Bonaventura is there. Heads it to Baka, there's 3 forward. He just has to find someone, but he's not going to find anyone like that. Golam gets back in time. Milik, and it's the counter to the counter. Mertens on the ball. Shut him down quickly. Players out of position. This isn't working out well. Zappacosta delivers the early ball. Milik is there, rises, and he scores. If that was a header, it was a hell of a header, because it was a powerful one, and it wasn't enough for Donnarumma. Apparently suspicions offside, but I don't think so. And the truth is, we should have been scoring this type of goal. We just lacked the incisiveness. We've had our clear-cut chances, we just haven't converted them. Look at my players getting dragged all over the pitch. That's fine though. Once the cross is coming in, we should be dealing well with it. And it is a shot, and Donnarumma can't do anything about that. Too powerful. Surprise Napoli. Okay, there you go. They have switched the formation again. I don't think we're going to get an equaliser. Not the way we've played. Been good at bursts, but that's pretty much it. I mean, it kind of tells its own story that only 2 players have performed well out of our starting 11. That's not good enough. Trying to change it here though. Nicola with the delivery, far post to Bonaventura. Very decent header in truth. But from where he was heading it down, there was no way that was ever going to have enough power to beat Pepe Reina, and it doesn't. First game, first loss isn't the best way to start, but there's 2 minutes here and we might change that. Lorenzo. Okay, I guess no one's really doing anything about that, but either way, Bacca's free here. If we can commit the men forward, which we're trying to do. Nicola. Oh, good God, why would you take that shot first time? Sometimes my players really make me question not just my tactics, but their decision making. I check it and it's always high ratings, so I just don't understand it. Barini though. Poor cross. Lucas, thought he was gonna give Barini another opportunity to put the ball into the box. Instead he goes for the long range shot and Napoli survive once more. All they have to do is hold on to the result for another minute and they'll be okay. Alessio forward to Bonaventura, tries to head it down to Herrera, but it was never gonna happen. He should have played it through to Bacca. And Mertens holds onto the ball well for his team. Look how many men they commit forward despite trying to hold on to the ball. Zielinski. Lorenzo cleared well. Can Nicola get there first? Was a question. He does. He can just hold on to it as he's supposed to as a complete forward. Instead he goes to Bacca. Decent. Barini goes for the shot instead of trying to find Bonaventura at the far post. Could have been 2-2, but it's not. And Napoli survive again. Pepe Reina with a goal kick. Come on, boys. Milik, always dangerous in FM, and it is his goal that's won the game for Napoli. I love to see so many shots from my team, but you know, it's actually an exciting game, back and forth. But for Milik to get the winner instead of ourselves is frustrating. Anyways, can't ask for too much from our players. We weren't favourites for today's game, and gonna have to step it up throughout the season. They're still definitely adjusting to the new tactics. They still have to learn it, of course, get used to it. But definitely quality-wise, we need to improve. There's early signs that the tactic works quite well. We're a bit exposed defensively, and I'm gonna give the structured team shape a go, but can't see it improving our overall game anymore. But anyways, that's all for today's game. But that's the match for September. So when we'll be back is basically in October. So those fixtures are from Standard to where's that? Pescara, Inter are in November. A couple of games here. Probably show you Lazio, who are in 11th currently, but I don't think they've played any games yet. But Lazio would definitely be a nice one to look out for. Have a quick look at the club's rivals. Lazio are there, so it'll be a nice one to show. So yeah, I think we'll be back by then. A couple of games, maybe we'll be in a much better position than we are after today's result, which pretty much sends us down to 19th. But yeah, that's all for today's episodes. Of course, if you did enjoy it, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more Daily Football Manager 2018 content. And of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. And once again, guys, thank you all very much for watching.